Okay, and it says it's live. Here we are. Good afternoon, everybody. And see, there might be one person out there. Okay, just went live a few seconds ago. Looks like somebody else popped in here. So this is the Linux Hour, questions and answers, where we give you answers to questions that you might have about Linux in regards to audio and video production, but also any other computer related questions. It's friendly here. The water's fine. Just come on in and put your question in the chat window there and we'll take care of it. Yeah, I was going to do a little show and tell here, but I'd like to get a few more folks in the channel before I unleash what I've got to unleash today. Yeah. And looks like there's a little activity in Linux Mint Discord. Well, somebody just came and left. I guess they just came to see how ugly my face was. And then they could leave. Come on now, don't be shy. Let's get this show going. Okay, I don't see anybody here in the chat window. So this is the Linux Hour questions and answers. Been online here for a minute 50 seconds, where you get to ask the questions and we give the answers. And if we can't answer them right away here live, we'll answer the question on next week's program. So come on in, join the chat window here. Just type in a question you've got and we'll get you an answer. Or we can just talk about the weather. It's a beautiful day here in Kingsport today. It started out at 55. Our high today is going to be 75. And how about starting out tomorrow morning at 52 with a high of 78? But tomorrow is going to be a photo day. A beautiful clear blue sky tomorrow, a deep postcard blue. Well, people are coming in and out, but nobody's typing any questions here in the chat window. Yeah, so come on in and ask your question, and we'll get you an answer as soon as possible. Mm-hmm. Okay, so they're bickering here in the Linux Mint community on Discord about somebody who should be banned. Okay. Well, we'll just stay on the Linux Mint Discord channel. For those who don't know what the Linux Mint Discord channel looks like, I'll give you a quick view here. It's a very interesting place to hang out. Actually, it's a server. Let's go ahead and take a look here. I'll share it. And there everybody is. You have Mint support, miscellaneous support, small questions. You have lots of different chat rooms. And you've got some galleries there to look at some desktops and wallpaper. Yeah, it should be out fairly soon. It used to take a long time for Linux Mint Debian edition, but Linux Mint changed their development. Can you see that window okay there, Marks? Because I don't want to have what happened last week where I sat here for 10 minutes and people couldn't see what I was talking about. Can you see the Linux Mint community in Discord? Yeah. Is that showing up on your end good? Nice and clear? Okay. I don't have any direct messages right now. I actually have friends in Discord from all around the world. Actually, those are just chatters. Let's take a look at my friends list here. Yeah, 36. How about that? Who knew, right? Let's go back to the subject at hand. Yeah, Discord is cool. I'm enjoying it. I'm going to stop sharing now and share something else. It takes time to get used to. Well, we've got 3 people out here on the channel. Come on in and ask a question about Linux or anything about computers. Look, we have people here with decades of experience. I mean, if you can't get an answer from us, you just can't get one. Right, Marks? What is working out in the morning's making a difference. For those who don't know, I have some health issues, but I'm overcoming them. Daily work. Yeah. And I've got some beautiful new films out on my channel. The YouTube channel has 172 subscribers now and has some beautiful nature videos. If you're in the nature videos, you want to go to my YouTube channel. This is just a little part of the channel, this live program here once a week. So we've got 4 people out there. Come on in and ask a question. The water's fine. This is a judgment-free zone. Like I said, we can talk about the weather. We can talk about whatever you all want to talk about. It's a beautiful day here in Kingsport. Beautiful. Let's see what the humidity is. The humidity is 61%, temperature 75 with broken clouds. But tomorrow is going to be the stunner, starting out at 52. That's almost blanket weather. Oh, yeah, fall is here. So how's the audio today, Marks? I know there's some reverb because I don't have the walls here treated, and actually I'm thinking about doing the next one from the studio again. Are we good? I'm sure we're good. Let me double check the volume here. Make sure nothing messed. Yeah, we're at 100%. Bingo. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, while we're waiting for some people to ask some questions, I want to share my desktop here and my beautiful collection of wallpapers that I've curated over time. And what I'm thinking about doing is offering these as a package to people who support the channel. And what I'll do is they'll be on a server, a private server I have. You'll download it and you'll execute the script and it will install it on your computer. This will work with any version of Linux Mint Cinnamon. Okay, well, let's just share this screen real quick. Just a moment. Okay, that's not how I wanted it to look. Let's do this. All right, I'm going to get this. There we go. Okay. So what I'd like to do is to show off these beautiful collections of wallpapers that I have collected over the years. Aren't they beautiful? Yeah, now I have it set up as a slideshow. I'll just kind of walk through them real quick. Marks, if you see somebody with a question out there, how about that? Isn't that beautiful? Yes, sir. Yeah, if you like dazzling colors and beautiful contrast, this is one of my favorites. Okay, these are the vibrants and these are the pastel ones, but they didn't come up for some reason, and that's okay. We'll go ahead and stop sharing here, and sometimes that happens. There we go. Yeah, we've got 8 people in here concurrently, so please feel free to ask a question. I was just walking through some of the desktop wallpaper that I have here, and somehow when I switched over to the other set, because my screen was shared, that's a common issue. It didn't show the other ones. Okay, a bunch of people left. How do you go from 8 to 2 there, Marks? I don't get that. Must be phantoms. Okay, let's do this. I'll walk through the little slideshows here. How about that? So I've got one here for distros. Okay, all the popular, beautiful ones from all the distros, particularly KDE. Then I've got the dark ones for late at night. These are just beautiful, beautifully stunning. Well, people can watch this on the replay. Okay. Then I've got the one for HP, all the beautiful ones with HP. Well, these run as a slideshow. Okay. Then I've got these Nords for early evening. And then these are all the pastel ones. Just beautiful. And then these are the vibrant ones. Yeah. Well, that's true, but you know, I have a fairly large desktop. Okay, we'll go ahead and stop sharing. So did that work okay there, Marks? What I need to do is to set up my laptop over here behind this main computer screen, and then I can actually watch in real time what's going on the YouTube live. It's what I need to do. Or just set it up here on the TV, either way. Well, it's another day, a beautiful day here. It's also a beautiful day to talk about Linux and what it can do for you, why it's better than Windows. But honestly, attendance being the way it is, maybe this will be the last one and I can just go back to doing what I do, which is filmmaking and sound production and photography. Yeah, because I'm not much of a looker. I'm not comfortable here on camera. Okay, we've got 4 people out there. Come on in to the chat window and ask your question about Linux, computing in general. We have lots of experience here and we can answer your question. Or if you just want to talk, you know, it's really up to what the people who come into this channel drive the topics. As long as it's safe for work, we can talk about it. And please, no religion or politics, because there's plenty of that too. Well, we've got 6 concurrent users. Come on into the chat window and ask a question or bring up a topic, something you'd like to talk about. Don't be shy. This is a judgment-free zone. Okay. You come at the perfect time because you can get all the attention. How about that? So what's up, man? Go ahead and ask a question, or if you just have something you want to talk about, just bring up a topic. This is for y'all, not for me. I'm just the facilitator. I'm just the ringmaster. Yes, Okay, you're just here for fun. Well, we might as well just talk about fun. I'll tell you what. I tipped somebody here yesterday. There's a lot of things people don't know about me. I am a master of revenge. That's another title I can just add to the list. Yeah, would you all like to hear about that? Okay, dead from the inside. You're the young gentleman from India, right? Okay. Well, ask a question. What's going on in your part of the world? It's a beautiful day here where I live. Well, it's great because it's like past midnight your time, and it's nice that you showed up. Unfortunately, my friend on the other side of the planet in Singapore, no, he's in Malaysia. He couldn't make it today because it's really late there. Yeah, it's 2:30 in the morning in where he lives in Indonesia. Man, these people are everywhere, and I forget what country they're in sometimes because I don't chat with these people every day. Maybe every 2 or 3 days I hear from somebody, but there's people scattered everywhere. Hey, Derek, what you got? Okay, so Derek's got a question. Why is it that there is such fear of using Linux as a daily driver or for gaming? Well, that's a great question, man. Mental therapy. But others are paralyzed by it. Man, Linux is fantastic. I mean, even in the terminal, compared with Windows, when you type a command and it executes, that's the first thing I noticed about Linux is how much faster everything executes in Linux. It's like lightning fast. You know, with Windows, it's like d d d d d d d d. With when you copy and paste a bunch of commands into the Linux terminal window, it's like whoosh, it's amazing. And you can game on Linux. As a matter of fact, there are some distros out there that have been introduced that are just for gaming. That's all they do. That's all they're for. And there's one of them that you can run on that little bitty. There's a new little gaming. It's a small tablet. It's kind of like a rectangle size, and it's got controls on either side. And they have a version of Linux just for that, just for gaming only. You know, not graphics processing like I do here on my workstation or video processing, or it's just for gaming only. So Derek, what do you spend your time doing in Linux? You said you use the terminal a lot. Do you do some coding? I do bash scripting. I do a lot of it. Now, what we're not going to do is do what I do last week, where I thought I was showing people a large bash script, and it turned out that I was looking at the file manager. Yeah. So I can show you some bits of one of my scripts. Okay, you do troubleshooting. What kind of system do you have? Linux is getting so popular that even Microsoft offers some of their tools for Linux, including a browser and this coding software called VS Code, which I really like, by the way. Let's just take a look here at some code, but we're just going to do it quickly now. We're not going to spend a whole super amount of time in here. I like to comment my code extensively. Oh, of course, there's always an update. That's what I love about Linux. You don't have to update things if you don't want to. Okay, there are no forced updates in Linux. So what this is doing is figuring out what computer it's going to run on I'm just going to scroll through this script real quick that I wrote myself over a number of years. Yeah, okay, that's enough of the script now. I promise that we're not going to get out of control like last week. Are we good? Okay, I thought Debian 13 was Trixie. Is Voyager some desktop you're using? Well, we got 5 concurrent users out there. Come on in and ask a question or two. No problem. Hey, great to have you here with us today. Cognisa, I guess is how it's pronounced. Yeah, so do you have a question for us today? That's right. Yeah, Voyager desktop. See, that's the beauty about Linux is you've got the base itself, the kernel, and then the new utilities that come with it. But then you can use almost any desktop you want to. Okay, Newton trendy. All right, great. But that's the beauty about Linux is you can mix and match. You can, okay, Newton trendy. How many desktops are out there for Linux? What, 15, 20, 30? Let's do this. And this is a good thing for people who want to know about Linux. One of the really cool places to go to learn about what's out there in the world of Linux, and I'm going to bring it up here and show it to everybody. Okay, because this is so enriching. It's this website, but rather than just give you the name of the website, I want to show it to you. Okay, let's do that. I need to get back in here to the live stream and do the okay. Whoops, wrong window. Sorry, folks. Okay, here it is. It's a really cool site called Distro Watch. What it has a list of, well, 100 distros. About that, 100, not one or two, 100. Let's just take a look at Solus. So what this does is it gives you a picture of the desktop interface, and you can click on that and get a larger picture. Is this thing working? I hope it is. Okay. And you can find out a lot of different things about the, here's one called, oh, it's Bazite. This is the one that's for gaming. Yeah, here it is. Right. It's atomic distribution. The Bazite is designed with gaming in mind. It can run on desktop computers, the Steam Deck, and other handheld gaming devices. How about that? Yeah. All right. So that gives you an idea. If you're new, you have questions about Linux, go to distrowatch.com. It's got news. It's got the, well, that's for the more technical folks. It's got all the popular distributions, and you can just click on it and read about it. They have reviews. Yeah, but Bazite, that's the one that I was thinking of. Man, that is hot right now. Okay, let's get back to some of the questions here on the program. So, does anybody have any further questions right now? Well, that's right. Okay. Now, of course, I'm getting messages here from all my instant messengers while the program is running, but that's okay. Well, we have 8 concurrent users. That's a pretty good number. Does anybody have any questions there? Yeah, Fluxbox is just a window manager. That's right. Very good. Very good, new and trendy. And that's what I was talking about is you can mix and match desktops. Matter of fact, a lot of the popular distros offer like 5 different desktop interfaces called DE, a desktop interface or desktop environment. So some of the ones offer 5. I think Ubuntu has like 10 or 11. Yeah. So Derek, I don't know if you've ever tried that Bazite, but it's hot right now. It's a hot number. So Dad, from the inside, what do you think about all this? Of course, the thing is with this chat, we can't really see who's leaving. So he might have gone ahead and gone to sleep being over there in India. But it was fantastic that he did drop in to say hello. Well, see, that's part of the problem, Marks, is there a new user to Linux, there's a lot of confusion. And that's why I encourage new users to go to a site like Distro Watch, WATCH.com. Okay, to just kind of kick the tires and see what's out there. It's not meant to overwhelm. Distro Watch is a starting point for new users. And what you do is you download the ISO file. Let me just type it. So you download that file. Okay, you download the ISO file, and then you have some software that you put on it to copy it to a USB drive where it can be made bootable. That's right. And then you boot from the USB drive, USB stick, you boot from that. And so you can test drive the operating system. And that's the beauty about Linux is you don't have to actually install it on your system to test drive it like you do with Windows. And thank you very much for the thumbs up. That's much appreciated. So you can sit there and test drive a different version of Linux every single day. If you have the time to, it takes a little while to write that ISO file. It can be anywhere from 2 to 5 gigabytes to the USB. But if you have a big enough, in the other room, I've got a 64 gigabyte high-speed Samsung where I keep a lot of distros parked in Ventoy. That's this software here. All right, Ventoy, which allows you to put multiple ISO files. Let me just, on one USB. Okay. So you could sit there and test drive 5 or 6 different distros in one day if you had the time. Yeah. See, a lot of people are really busy with their lives and they just don't have time to learn Linux. That's what I guess people like you and me, Marks. A lot of people just don't have time to test drive all the beautiful versions or Linux desktops. And they get confused and they say, well, that's too confusing for me. I'll just stay with Windows another time. I'll buy another Windows computer. That could be part of it. The on-ramp to Linux does require time and learning. See, that's what a channel like this is for, though, is to help people with that if you've got questions about Linux. So we've got 8 concurrent watchers out there. Does anybody else have questions? You know, we don't have to talk about Linux. We can talk about Windows. We can talk about computers. We can talk about video editing, photography. Okay, well, thank you so much for stopping by with us here at your very late hour from India. Goodbye, and thank you for your support. All right, I'll see you tomorrow on Discord. Well, you know, I have a story about Discord. I never really used it much. I was just in the Linux Mint server, the Linux Mint community server, and just hardly in there. But then some things in my life here changed in May. And I decided to give Discord a try and see what it was all about. There's tons of young people on Discord, but in some of the channels like filmmaking, movies, and audio stuff, there are more older people, middle-aged and older folks. And then, of course, in the Linux Mint community, it's always been older and younger people in there. Okay, that would be great. Thank you again, and I will see you later. Alligator. Isn't that great? Well, my friend, unfortunately, from Indonesia, he couldn't be here this morning. It's 2:30 his time. Yeah. Okay, well, we got several folks out there in the lobby. Come on in, ask a question. Come on through the lobby, man. It's safe, it's comfortable. And you know, we can talk about anything here but religion and politics. So if you're bored, if you're completely bored with computing and you want to talk about travel or photography, come on and let's get this channel rocking. Because we're about halfway through. I'm not going to show everybody my cat or my bedroom or the rest of my house and drag this out for 3 hours. We're just going to do it and move on because some of us actually have things to do. Well, Marks, why don't you bring up a topic there? Yeah, so I don't know if Derek is still with us, but I appreciate your questions and I hope I've been able to help a little bit. Yeah, you might want to try out that Basil distro that I showed on Distro Watch. Okay, well, we've got 5 concurrent. I guess some people just come by to see what the heck is going on, but we'd love to have some questions here about Linux or computing in general. Heck, even some Windows questions. We've been around the block with Windows a few times. Okay, right. Yeah. Well, see, that's the beauty of Linux. Linux has changed. Remember, in the old days, you could not do an upgrade from one long-term LTS called long-term support. You could not do that. Remember, in the old days, you had to do a fresh install. Well, now Linux has gotten so cozy that a lot of the distros now you can do an upgrade and rather than a forced reinstall. Okay, subject change. AI or AI voice agents for business. My thoughts. Well, there's a lot of AI going on now in what's called the front end of call centers to route calls to the right department. You know, that's been going on the last 3 or 4 years. the AI voice agents with call centers. Yeah, you should give Bazai a try. I should try it myself. And I have a computer in the other room for testing. It's a backup computer to this one, and but it also has a spare empty drive in there to load distros on. Yeah. I hate those voice AI agents, but they're the thing now with all the big call centers, whether you're calling your health provider or whether you're calling the cable company or anybody, you're going to have a voice AI front end doing the call routing. Man, I don't know. This shows how old some of us are. Remember the old days, Marks, where everything, where big companies had a switchboard and an operator, and you would call like the big oil and gas company I worked at. You would call Getty and ask for somebody, and they would put you through. There was an operator down there in an office. Okay. Man, the days of humans doing all that are way gone. No 411 or anything. If you told somebody today what's 411, they what are you talking about? Okay. Remember, you could actually dial 411 on your phone and get a voice, okay, and ask for a phone number, or if the number changed. And remember, they printed the directories only once a year. It was called Directory Assistance 411. Man, now you can't get a human voice on any of these telcos. I'll tell you what, though, consumer cellular is the best one to deal with when it comes to the cell phone providers. This is not an advertisement for CC. It's an actual experience. Okay. Yes, I still use a flip phone. This is my last one, though. I promise I'm getting a smartphone when this one breaks, but it's on the CC network. Yeah, there we go. Well, there we go. It's a beautiful phone, by the way. Ruby red. Okay, so thank you for the thumbs up. We've got 4 folks out there. Anybody else have some questions or want to talk? Let's do it. But the whole thing, Derek, to drill down a little bit on the AI voice agents, is it used to be only the largest companies could afford it. Okay, but now that it's becoming more affordable to where you can even interact with AI online, okay, smaller companies are starting to use it, like the hospital system here in Kingsport does it. Okay, so it's percolating down the ladder as it becomes more affordable for smaller companies. So pretty soon, you just won't be able to talk to a human at all, except when your call gets routed through. But try to find a human in our medical system now when you call the doctor's office. I communicate with my doctors through email or a messaging system on a website. Those people never answer a phone, ever. It's easier to go to the emergency room than reach somebody by phone, a voice call. Not an endorsement, but the new Fresco is really good. That's right. And then you're locked in, you're locked out from a human voice because they never have an option. Right. And these large companies like Appalachian Electric Power, which is owned by American Electric Power out of Columbus, Ohio, when I try to call their corporate office, I have to have a directory number or I can't reach anybody. I can't hit 0 and talk to an operator anymore. If you don't know the extension of the person in the executive offices you need to talk to, you can't talk to anybody. Oh, yeah. Okay, so I've got a message here from somebody on Internet Relay Chat. Let's see what's cooking. Okay, I'm not sure why I was given that message, but I'll take care of it later. Well, see, AEP owns utility assets from Louisiana all the way up here through Kentucky and through many different states. They're a huge holding company for electric power utilities. Okay, so we've got 5 concurrent users sitting in here. We've been on for about 41 minutes. Is anybody else? All you have to do is just type in this little window here, type a question or type a comment. We'll get to it right away. Some days we have a lot of questions at the same time and we have to prioritize everybody. But last week was a technical failure. I didn't even save it. As soon as that live was over, I was so embarrassed by that 10-minute gaffe, I just deleted it. So y'all are the ones that have been sending that haze over here this last summer. I figured it was coming from Kentucky or somewhere, some coal-fired haze. I knew what that was. The summer before, it was the wildfires in Canada. This summer, it was the coal-fired plants. So normally here, the air is so clear that it's real easy to tell if something is wrong with the atmosphere. Gosh, I've got some great stories to tell tomorrow at coffee with my neighbor. I'm not going to tell all those here in public. Yeah. Some great ones. I like that microphone marks in the studio. I'd like to set it up here at this desk, but the problem is it needs a fancy preamplifier and everything to get it to work with this computer. And so I'm thinking about having the next one back in the studio. Yeah, but I'm not going to play the instruments though. I'm not even going to talk about the instruments. I'm going to use them as a set. You know, if somebody's curious, they can ask. Well, we may have to just wind this puppy down at the appointed time because we're down to 3. I don't understand. At one time we had 8 concurrent viewers, and then it like boop, dropped down to 3. I don't know whether that was a fluke with YouTube's numbering system or what. Okay, the eBay guy, he just dropped out on me again. We were communicating back and forth. I last sent him a message. I wanted him to. Okay, another message off of Discord. That's why at night I mute the computer. I leave this one on. Okay, the eBay guy. Here's the story. My last message to him is if you could just send me, you know, by email a mailing label, a PDF file that I could print and just send it back to him. But I haven't heard. I haven't heard yet. That was my last proposal. Yeah, so it's still sitting in the kitchen, all boxed up, ready to go. Yeah. So here's a story about eBay. Until this last purchase, I've had 100% success buying used computers on eBay and flipping them into Linux boxes. And for a while, I had so many computers, I had to start to give some away. Now, here's the sad part. I have 8 computers in this home, and this is a small home. Okay. I'm not a computer hoarder, okay, because 2 of these computers are what's called museum pieces. All right. One of them runs Windows XP in full HD, 16 by 9, okay, which really didn't even exist when HP was first released. It has special drivers, Intel drivers, to allow it to display the screen at 16 by 9 and full HD. Okay, that computer is not leaving. Matter of fact, the computer that I bought it unopened. It had never been opened. Somebody bought it at Best Buy and put it in the back of a closet. I guess they bought it as a gift. It was an estate purchase that I made. That was on eBay. So anyway, it was a Windows 7 computer and I converted it to XP. Okay, that's a museum piece. I've got another museum piece that runs Linux. All the other computers run Linux. I've got the original HP Envy, the first one that HP came out with, that beautiful brushed aluminum chassis, the big box. The first HP Envy, that's a collectible. And then I've got 4 computers that are actually on my network. So they're all behind on a private network. So there's this one. This is the video editing workstation 1. And then the backup station in the other room that's also used for Linux testing. Then there's that little bitty computer that's used for recording in the sound in the audio studio. And then in the radio room is computer number 4. It's used for radio shortwave work, logging, programming, check the news and things, and check my email while I'm yapping with other ham radio operators. So there's 4 that's actively in use. Then there's the laptop, the travel laptop. So there's 5 that are actually in use. 2 are boxed away, the collectibles, because they're in their original boxes. And then I've got the HP Envy, which is just sitting on the floor in the radio room. Yeah. So don't call me a hoarder, call me a collector. There's a difference. Yeah. And actually what I did, Mars, I sent you a computer that I didn't need anymore because I bought the workstation in the other room. And I said, well, this computer's just sitting here doing nothing. And yeah, it had that TI 1050 graphics card in it. Yeah, because last year for my birthday, I replaced all the computers that I use, what's called daily drivers. I just bought all new stuff because I used to work for HP and I got a tremendous price. I bought all this gear for what you'd pay for it on eBay used. Massive discounts. Mashiv. Right here is a 32-inch Omen monitor. Yeah, HyperX keyboards. Everything here is HP. So back to the eBay thing. I've had tremendous success on eBay buying what's called computers that come off leases. And so these companies go in and they bid on a whole office building full of computers that are coming off a lease. Okay. And then they resell them on eBay. Oh, there's so much Dell and HP equipment on eBay. And now Lenovo, there's just so much of it out there. Tons of it. And most of these people, if you run into a problem, they're very good about handling a refund or return shipping. I seem to be having a little bit of trouble with this seller because it was dead on arrival, and I think it was mishandled in shipping. I want the seller to pay the return shipping because I paid to get it shipped here. It's only fair they should pay to take it back, right? What do you think, Marks? Am I being unreasonable here? Well, yeah, I am a little frugal. This co-worker at my first corporate job, he said, "Harry, you're so tight, you could make a buffalo nickel squeal." But actually, I have a friend who's more frugal than I am. Oh my gosh. So we've got 4 concurrent viewers out there. Come on in. You can tell this is friendly. This is friendly conversation. We want to talk about computers and Linux and whatever you want to talk about, as long as it's not religion and politics or, something crazy. Come on in, man. Put your question in the chat window. No harm, no foul. Well, we had some good attendance numbers, and I'd like to keep this thing going, but I'm not going to keep showing up here if we're only going to get 2 people who ask questions, because that's not any fun. Especially this time of year. This is photography season here in where I live. For those who don't know, I live here in beautiful Kingsport, Tennessee, tucked between the Blue Ridge and the Clinch Mountain Range. I'm 2 miles from Virginia. I'm less than 20 miles from several beautiful rivers, creeks, beautiful places for nature photography and nature. And I'm an amateur filmmaker. That's my big thing right now. So some of the people who are out there, just type in what your hobbies and interests are. I'm a filmmaker, an audio producer, are my main things, audio production. And I have a YouTube channel. And of course, Linux. I spend a lot of time with Linux. I spend a lot of time chatting online with people about Linux. I'm active in Discord, internet. In case anybody wants to reach me, I have the same chat nick in Discord, the same one in Matrix, and actually the same one in Internet Relay Chat. Yeah, I like to keep the same nick, same chat name everywhere. Okay. Well, any other questions out there? Okay, somebody's looking to voice chat while they smoke. I guess that means the wacky weed. Yeah. Oh my gosh. My experiment with gummies about 3 weeks ago. Well, Mark, you know how that went. That went completely sideways. The first day, the gummy was good. The second day, I thought I was going to have to go to the emergency room. That did not work. Yeah. For the first time in my life, I thought I'd try THC. It just, the first day, it was pretty good. But I found other ways to get that dopamine hit. Let me tell you, I had a dopamine hit here. I'm not going to name the day of the week last week. I felt like I was on a hoverboard all day long. Yeah. Now you can do that. Free country, man. Free country. Well, I guess a lot of the computer people have come and gone. Anybody else out there want to talk some? And thank you for the thumbs up. But in the end, because of this heart rhythm problem, it's actually it's a nerve problem is what it is. The heart is perfectly fine. There's no heart disease. But I think on day 2, I said, with this heart issue, I probably shouldn't use THC and probably just knock it off. I went, knock it off. Okay, well, we've got a couple folks out there. Come on in, make yourself at home. This is your place to ask questions about Linux or computing in general, video editing, audio production, which is all done here in Linux. Everything I do, when you go to my YouTube channel, everything you watch, every little pip and squeak and every frame of video, all processed under Linux. It's no excuses allowed. It's Linux or bust. Yeah. So I just want to help other people who are curious about Linux have a good experience, and also provide people who are curious about Linux some good resources to call on to learn about it. Hey, and since we're here every single week, you can just come on in with your questions. That second gummy. Wow. I'll tell you, I'm not a slightly built person, and I spent 30 years of my life in a hockey rink playing hockey, banging my body around. I'll tell you, a gummy like that to a youngster could have sent somebody into the emergency room. Man, shoo, that second gummy. Wow. Yeah. So we've got 4 concurrent people. Hey, you all want to talk about sports, weather, your hobbies. We've got a few more minutes here. Just don't be shy. Just type in this little chat window here and ask a question or bring up a topic, something you want to talk about. Just please no religion or politics. Okay, well, we're getting near the closing time. Remember that song, Closing Time? I remember the Houston Aeros after the game was over and they were turning down the lights in the big arena. The DJ would play Closing Time. We'd stay there so late after the games, they would bring in the cleaning crew to start cleaning, clean all the popcorn and the soda pop cups and everything out. And that DJ would play a song, Closing Time. Yeah. Well, we've got 5 concurrent watchers out there. Come on in, man. The water's fine. Type a question. What are your hobbies? We can talk about anything. We don't have to talk about Linux. We can talk about computers, photography, travel. As you can see in this display case in the back, I have traveled a little bit. Hey, it's been a while. Yes, it has. As a matter of fact, you were on the first stream. Great to have you with us. But anyway, in the back there, that little shot glass is from Ortenburg, Germany. I've got that little flat piece of art there from Athens, Greece. It's never even been opened. Yeah, and I've got some stuff from the Hershey, New York City, the Hershey Resort. Okay, so how you been doing? Yes, I have been to Switzerland. Yes, I have. Now that's great. We can talk about travel because I tell you what, I've never been to Africa. I wanted to see the Great Pyramids, which is actually in Africa, but I just have never went. And now after 9/11, I'll tell you what, after 9/11, a lot of my dreams for travel have been shattered because of just the sheer inconvenience of traveling now. See, a lot of young people don't know what it was like to travel before 9/11. Okay, somebody said they're logging off. They're going to leave. But thank you so much for participating with us today. So Switzerland is beautiful. One of the best ways to see Switzerland is on a train. High up in the mountains. Oh, it's so beautiful up there. And see those glaciers melting and those waterfalls. That was a beautiful trip. Yeah, Lucerne. Well, ask some other questions. Yeah, I've been to Switzerland. I've been to Luxembourg. I've been to Germany. Austria is very nice. I liked Austria a lot. Austria is a big music. You know, Vienna has long been the music capital of Europe for centuries. Oh, yeah. Switzerland is definitely a beautiful place to visit. And so are the Italian Alps. Oh, Austria, the people there are very friendly. It's a very quiet, peaceful place. Oh, yeah, if you could go there for your master's study, that would be great. Like I said, Vienna is such a center of culture, has been for centuries in Europe. Matter of fact, if I had a choice between living in Berlin or Vienna, I might choose Vienna. Berlin is just so massive. Everybody wants to live there. Berlin is like the New York of Europe. No, I didn't spend much time in France. I admit. I stopped over from a flight and changed flights in that massive Charles de Gaulle airport, which seems like you're going for endless. It's a huge area. The Charles de Gaulle airport is huge, man. I transferred flights to fly to Greece. Have you ever been to Greece? You know, the thing is, you can look at pictures of Greek architecture in all the picture books. You can look at it at 4K, but there's nothing like seeing Greek architecture in person. It is absolutely stunning. And you just wonder, how did they do that? Everything is so perfect. Oh, Athens. And I used to go out when I could, almost every day, to this little restaurant that was by the Tower of the Winds. And these massive pieces of marble that were so finished and polished, and they were just slid together. There's no mortar. There's nothing holding them in place except perfection. Tower of the Winds. I used to go there almost every morning. Now, Athens is extremely populated. There's 6-7 million people there. The traffic is unbelievable, because this is something an American wasn't used to. People go to work, they come home for lunch, and then they go back to work. Okay, so there's like traffic, crazy. There's traffic jams there, like you wouldn't believe in Athens. And but there are some quiet places in Athens, away from the crowds. Yeah. So what country are you in now? Yeah, that's the only thing I don't like about Zorin, is that paid version, because see, in Linux, we're not used to that. That's not how we run in Linux. Okay. It's free and open source software, FOSS or bust. Okay. And we're not used to that. The fact is, Linux Mint will do everything that Zorin will do. Zorin is a pretty face. What it is, they've adapted a different desktop, and they've done some things to pretty it up and do that. But it is really nice. Now there's a new beta version, I think Zorin 20. There's a beta out right now. You might want to take a look at that and see what that has to offer. But yeah, I've never used the paid version. What I don't like about you have to pay to unlock more interfaces. Okay, 18, my mistake. Okay. So, but where are you located now? What country are you in? If you don't want to say, just say, I'm not comfortable saying. I don't want to tell. We're cool with that. I'm just curious what country you're in now. I love to talk about travel. I've been to some amazing places. I still like to go back to Europe one more time, but right now my big plan. Okay, you're from Pakistan. Are you currently in Pakistan? But I'd like to go back to New York. Okay. Well, I'm here in the Western United States, the Eastern United States. I used to be in the West. Now I'm in the East. I'm over here in far northeastern Tennessee. Matter of fact, I'm so far northeast, I'm 2 miles from the Virginia border. But I love it here. The weather here is just fantastic. Okay. So I went to New York in 2003 when they were still excavating the last remains of the World Trade Center. And so I told myself I want to come back and see everything when it's rebuilt. But then the last 3 years, I've had these health problems that have prevented me from traveling. As a matter of fact, earlier this year in January, I could hardly leave the house for even 20 minutes. And that's kind of personal. I really don't want to talk about that here. But the bottom line is my health is getting better. I can travel now. Okay, Los Angeles, California. No, it's not cold here. We have 4 distinct seasons. Right now it's 75 Fahrenheit. Let me change my little weather thing here. I guess you can convert that to centigrade. The humidity here, 57%. It's a beautiful day. Tomorrow morning, it's going to be 52. And how about, 52 with a high of 78, a beautiful day. Well, I've been to San Francisco, which is stunning. Everybody should go to San Francisco at least once in their life. Now, if you've never been to California, ever, I would go to San Francisco first. Okay. Then LA. Because you have beaches out there in Northern California. It's more of a rocky coast, but you do have some beaches. You have to see the Golden Gate Bridge in person. You have to see that. See, that to me is the defining difference between LA and San Francisco. LA has that natural harbor, that beautiful bay. And the Golden Gate Bridge is like the crown jewel of the Bay Area. It's hard to believe people built something like that. It's so architecturally perfect. I mean, it's Art Deco, like the Empire State Building and the Chrysler Building in New York, but it's a bridge. And I tell people, man, anybody can build a bridge, but to make it look like the Greek gods built it, that's a different story. The proportions. It's just a stunning physical object built by man, the Golden Gate Bridge. Well, we have 5 concurrent folks out here. Is there anybody out here from California who wants to chime in? If anybody's up yet, I'll tell you, a road trip in the U.S., you're going to be on the road for a long time because the distances here are long. And the highways, when you go through the major cities, the highways are very crowded. And here's a tip. Go through the major cities at night to get where you're going, because at night only the truck drivers are using the highways. Everybody's asleep. Yeah. Because, man, when you go through these large American cities, outside of Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, Boston, there's no mass transit in all these other cities. And when you go through there during peak traffic hours, you're just sitting there. It's like a parking lot. It's like a parking lot, man. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, I just hope that this country is going to do what we can to preserve these for future generations. But I'm just so worried that our national park system is going to get sold off to developers eventually, because wealthy people are running out of places to live where they can live away from everybody. Real super wealthy people don't like to live in the big cities. They like to live out in these compounds and 1,000-acre ranches and things like that. And I'm just so afraid that eventually our national parks are going to be sold off to super wealthy people. Yeah. Okay, so we've got 4 concurrent, 5. Come on in, and there's a little window here on the right. You can open it up and type a question or a comment, and we're rocking and rolling. Well, I hate to close a live with 4 concurrent viewers, but it's been an hour and 13 minutes. And so are there any further questions before we get ready to wind this puppy down? And it's great to have you back with us. You're one of the first chatters. We've missed you here. Masabe, did I say your name right? Masabe? It's great to have you with us again. Drop in any Thursday The plan is to be here. And I hope you have a wonderful day and good luck with your studies. Oh, I apologize. Musayev. See, I have a problem with some languages like German. In German, you speak a lot of it from the back of your throat. And I get so embarrassed when I was in Germany because I just couldn't do it from the back of my throat like Germans do. Okay. All right. Well, I'm going to have to save that. All right. So I'll get it right. So we've got 5 concurrent viewers. Come on in. The water's fine. This is a judgment-free zone. Ask about computers, Linux, video production, audio production, photography, travel, whatever you want to talk about. It's your hour. It's your program. Okay, so we had a question here, folks. This is a legit question. What is the most beautiful looking Linux distro in your opinion? The most beautiful one is the Chinese one. Let me bring it up here on distro list. Just a second. Just a second. I'm working on it. Yeah, here it is. I found it. Let me go ahead and share my desktop here. I'll show you. That's what we do here. We share. There it is in its beauty. That is the most beautiful Linux desktop. Yes. It's complete. Excuse me. It's completely configurable. You can make it look like Windows. You can make it look like, let's see, Windows 7. You can make it look like the Mac and several different other ones. But there it is. And, that's what this is all about. You ask a question and you get the answer. How about that? Wasn't that beautiful? That's deep in. Let me go back just a moment. Yeah, so you can look this up on your time. There we go. Well, like I said, they've got a selector and you can select Windows to Mac, different versions of Windows. And then now I think it has its own interface. The thing is, you have to have a fairly powerful graphics to run that. And it takes forever to download because the servers are in China. Yeah, it is really nice. It's beautiful. I've always told people that Linux would be more popular if it had a standardized interface. And if Linux were going to standardize on any interface, Deepin is gorgeous. Yeah. Okay, so any other questions here before we think about closing it out? The numbers have dropped. We were at 5, 4. Now we're back down to 3 concurrent users or watchers or whatever, peekers. It'd be great to have a couple more questions here to close it out. Okay, the exact time is if you're a subscriber to the channel, you should be getting a notice. But it's always going to be Thursday, the day of the week, at 2:30 p.m. And then that's always going to be Eastern Time, U.S. That's the start time. So what that means is Eastern time means it's 2:30, whether it's daylight savings time or Eastern Standard Time. It's always going to be 2:30 here. Yeah. So we have any more questions? Oh, we had another viewer pop in. Hey, welcome everybody. Well, now they left. I guess a lot of people come in and go. Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, the SSH thing. Maybe Marks could answer that question since he uses it and I don't. Actually, I've never used it because I have a private internal network here. Here's the reason why I've never used it. I have a private internal network and I do remote desktop sharing. Okay. SSH, a lot of people use that to remote into a computer that's located off their premises remotely where they need all that security and lockdown. Okay, well, Marks, go ahead and answer his question since you use SSH all the time. I've never touched it because I've never had a need for it. Okay. I'll tell you, Marks has an incredible knowledge of Linux. And it's great to have Marks here with us every week. Oh, there's a gnat flying around in here. You know, sometimes when the weather's good, I just leave the doors cracked open, and sometimes a few gnats or bugs get in the house here. The cat just comes and goes. Yeah. The weather here is that good. Yeah. Okay, that's great. Actually, there's a lot of Linux books that are online. You don't even need to buy them. They're online. Yeah, that's what I do too. I have the same username on all my computers because I use remote desktop sharing with it's XVNC. Of course, each computer has a different name, but the username is the same on every computer. Right. It's a similar concept, except I'm doing it completely through a GUI. No terminal or command line. Okay, that's a good book. I love that term, super user. We're not beginners here, but we're willing to help anybody. So anybody who's out there watching, just know that you're welcome to jump in and ask a question. It's a judgment-free zone. Whether you've booted Linux for the first time, you're even thinking about booting it, or whether you've been using it for 20 years. See, Marks comes to the rescue again. He bailed us out. We were going down the wrong path. Okay, well, I really don't want to drag this out much further past an hour. You know, if we had 10 concurrent watchers, we'd want to stick around, but we're back down to 3. Right. So we'll let Marks finish up here, and then we're going to go ahead and close the YouTube live. And all this will be on the replay. There will be a replay this week, unlike last week, which is a technical disaster. We cannot have that again. So this will all be on the replay. So I see where somebody else just joined to take a look. Hey, you can come on in and ask a question before we close it. And if not, we'll be back again here at the same time next week, 2:30 Eastern Time, United States, on Thursdays only, Thursday afternoon. Sure. What's that last question there? Musayab, what's that last question? We have time for you. I said we have time for everybody, anybody. It's just a matter that we have people who stop by and they just take a look for a few minutes and see what is this guy here yakking, and then they leave. Okay. Well, there's internet relay chat, and then there's also, are you on Discord? Okay, I'm on Discord too, and Mark's is too. Here's my my chat name. If I can type, I'm a terrible typist. I have some kind of a problem with my dexterity. Did I spell that right, Marks? Well, Marks, you're just new at Discord. Discord takes time. You gotta get used to all the furries and that endless stream of emojis. See, what you don't realize is there's a lot of young people in there, Marks, in the Linux community, the Linux Mint community server. That's what it's called, Linux Mint community server, okay, in Discord. But there's a lot of young furries, and they like to just stream those endless emojis and animated GIFs, okay? And you just have to learn to filter that out, man. It's like anything new. You got to get used to it. Okay. I didn't see it for some reason. There it is. No, that's this girl who wants to talk to me. I don't know what she wants. Usually when ladies approach me, they want to sell me something. Okay. I still didn't see it there. Maybe there's some delay. Let me check again for friend requests. I still don't see it. Let me put you in there. Okay. How about that? Okay. Okay, it says success, your friend request. Musayev was 34 was sent. Okay, now we got to confirm on that. Okay. Yeah, how about that? We did that right now in real time here, thanks to YouTube Live. And I do put an announcement about YouTube Live on some of the Discord servers that I hang out on. Okay, it says accepted your friend request. Cool. Okay. I'll tell you, I can't believe my friends list has exploded. I don't understand that on Discord. Yeah. I don't even have Marks in there as a friend. Just for grins, I'll show you all my Discord window here. This is all about having fun. There are no hurries here. We don't have to end the stream right away. Here we go. Boop. Yeah, there's my Discord window. See, somebody's talking about, has a screenshots there of some audio production work, audio producer. Yeah. Yeah, so there's the Linux Mint community, but I hang out in so many other, how to verify an ISO. There's all kinds of help in here in the support forum. Look at all the support, chat rooms, galleries, but I'm on a bunch of different servers. See, one of my favorite here is photography, okay, and it's not working for some reason. It didn't take me over. I don't know why it did that. It left me stuck there. Oh, well, I guess because I switched the screen. Let's go ahead. That's what happened. It wanted to, because I switched the screen. Okay, we're good. But I'm in movie making and photography and several other hobby related. Yeah, films and movies and filmmaking, and then photography lounge, and several others. Actually, Debian. I'm in the Debian community. Heavy on the software, folks, but also have recreational and hobby interests. Okay, my last question, is there any way to rank distros on DistroWatch by popularity? Well, actually, they are ranked on DistroWatch by popularity. Let me go back to DistroWatch. You want to rank them yourself, do like a self-ranking? Is that what you're asking? Let me open up that window real quick here and share that. Oh, I keep getting the wrong one. Just a moment. It's almost like I need two computers to do this. Okay. There we go. Yeah, see, it's got a page hit ranking there. And it's got the top 100. But then it says more statistics, which I've never clicked on before. It might blow up the screen. Oh my gosh, it did blow up the screen about that. The last 12. Yeah, look at that matrix. It shows more than 100. 372 distros, my friends. Can you believe that? I've never heard of Bedrock or liunx. There's one for network attached storage, which is my next project, to build network attached storage for the for my system here, because the problem is when you do video editing, you want to keep all your source files, and man, when you download those from 4K camera, like one film shoot was 20 gigabytes. And then when you start editing, you want to save all those files. Well, before you know it, you're going to fill up a 2 terabyte drive. So I'm going to get a pair of 24 terabyte drives and build a network attached storage to store all those files. They'll still be edited. You don't want to edit those files over the NAS. You want to edit them here, locally. But for recall, I want to have a 24 terabyte NAS for this video work. Okay. Well, I hope I answered your question there with that screen. And I didn't realize when you click more data, it shows you more than 100 distros. You cannot do that with Windows. You cannot do that with the Mac. You cannot do that, okay, with anything. but Linux. You can't. Can you believe that, Marks? And that's something. Man, we learn new stuff every day. See, that's the whole purpose of this program is we learn from each other. So we have 4 concurrent viewers out there. Does anybody else have a question? Because I'd like to go ahead and close it down in 1 hour and 35. Okay, so going once, going twice. I hate to close it shut it down with 4 people at 4 concurrent viewers. And by the way, for those who are interested in the rest of the YouTube site, it is Kingsport Studio now. And I decided to settle on that name, and I decided to settle on that runic logo because it looks so good when it's super tiny. The problem with these logos that have your name in them or initials is when they're super tiny, they're not distinctive. And I love the way that runic figure is distinctive when it's very, very tiny. So anyway, if you can, give us the old thumbs up. Bing. I don't have a bell to ring yet. But I would like to thank everybody who just joined us here today and everybody who is going to watch on the live replay. I wish everyone the best, a happy week, and good weather out your way. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and close the stream at 1 hour and 36. So we all good? Marks, are you good? We're going to close it. Okay, we're going to hit the button, folks. Hopefully we'll see everybody back here next week. Goodbye from beautiful Kingsport, Tennessee, USA.